This is Viterbi Voices, your chance to hear stories about research, classes, student life, and more.
Directly from our students, faculty, and other members of our engineering community. All right here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back in to Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
And my name is Audrey Roberts. I'm a junior studying mechanical engineering here at USC.
And
my name is Christina. I'm a junior studying environmental engineering here at USC.
welcome back to the podcast, Christina.
Yay.
That was like the most unenthusiastic. Yay. Are you being forced to be here? Is that?
No, I'm actually very excited.
Okay.
It was fun to make this one.
It was fun. Well, so you brought us an episode. What's this episode all about?
Yeah, so it's actually about my major and my fellow peers in the majors. So I spoke to a bunch of different students in the environmental engineering civil environmental department. So freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and just talked about their experiences so far, the classes they're in, the clubs they're in, what they think about environmental engineering, what they want to do with the degree. So it was really cool to speak to fellow peers and learn about what they're excited about, because it's stuff I'm also excited about. So It was really fun.
So we've got a lot of students out there that I think have passions for the environment. Maybe they've taken AP Environmental Science in high school, or they're just overall really concerned about climate change or sustainability in general. What are the things that you want them to listen for in this particular episode? When you're thinking about those high school students that are out there, what are the things that you really want to cue them into?
Yeah, so one of the things that I asked everyone in this podcast was what they think environmental engineering is, why they chose the major, and then what they would say to someone considering. And I think those are all really key questions when you're interested in those things, but you don't necessarily know what to do with it, but you also are interested in engineering and math and science, so those types of things, because it really is a good intersection of all of those things. And everyone had a pretty similar answer of they are passionate about all of those things, but they also really like problem solving and things that engineers do. So listening to their answers really struck a chord in me and why I chose environmental engineering. Right. So if you hear any of that and you're like, wow, this sounds super cool, I agree with all of this, then this might be the major for you. All
right, well, let's let everybody dig into this episode, and we'll see everyone we won't see anyone. We'll be around. Yeah. We won't see them, but you'll hear us on the back end, and we'll do some other discussion.
So I am here with Tad. Tad, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Tad Long. I am a freshman student here at USC. My hometown is Ridgefield, Connecticut, and currently I'm a civil engineering major with an environmental emphasis.
That's awesome. Connecticut to LA. What is that like?
Yeah, everyone seems to ask that. It's a really big change. My hometown is like 10, 15,000 people. So coming out to the big city of LA was such a big transition, but it's definitely one that I've embraced, and I feel like it's been for the better. There's so much opportunity out here in LA and at USC. There's many things to get involved in, many places to see, many opportunities for work outside of USC, for clubs inside USC. There's just so much to offer here. I've really enjoyed my time here so far, getting involved, learning about different people and experiences while also pursuing my engineering career.
How has your transition been to college? How's that been going for you?
It's been an eventful one. It's been interesting. Certainly, I guess I could speak for a lot of incoming freshmen too. It's a big change, especially for me, for coming from such a small town, so different from here. It's been a lot to get used to, but also a lot of new opportunities to learn and to meet new people. The thing I really liked the most about coming all the way out here to USC was to meet people from all parts of the country, all parts of the world even, and to get to know their backgrounds and what they're interested in, what they're passionate about. I really take pride in having such a diverse group of friends that have different interests, different majors. We're very different from each other, but we're also able to get along with each other and spend time with each other too, which is super nice. I feel like that's definitely something USC can take pride in, such the diversity of students here and how we can all come together and be part of a single student body.
That's awesome. So why did you pick this major in this program?
That's a good question. I've always been wondering that myself. environmental engineering, I feel like, encompasses a lot of my passions and my interests. I've always been into nature and the outside world through my hobbies like hiking, camping, landscape artwork, stuff like that. I've always been a huge advocator for sustainability. I've always been into construction as well, and that's where the civil engineering component comes into. I feel like we as humans have a responsibility to design sustainable solutions to a lot of the issues that we face today, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's improving our transportation skills, our transportation methods. I mean, here in LA, everyone knows about the LA traffic, and
Yes.
that's always something.
Yes.
That's always something that, yeah, as a native Los Angeles,
Oh, yeah.
it's a huge problem, and we have a responsibility to use innovation and our combined skills to solve these problems while also keeping in mind the sustainability component. You know, we have to be mindful of the effects our society has on the environment, on our outside world. So when we design new innovations, we have to keep that in mind and make sure that 20, 30 years from now, these solutions are still intact and can still help future generations too.
That's really awesome. I really feel the same way about going into the major. Sustainability is super important, and we do have a responsibility to maintain the earth and keep stuff going. But I find it really interesting that you're interested in nature and hiking and all that stuff. So coming to LA, how do you satisfy your desire to go out and be in nature living in the big city?
Yeah, it's hard. I won't sugarcoat it. It's hard. I've gone to Malibu a couple times already this year. They have a lot of good nature spots, hiking trails there. Nice to get away from the big city every once in a while. I was really fortunate. I got to go to Catalina Island over President's Day weekend.
Was it the Wrigley trip?
Yeah, it was
cool.
part of ESA, which is one of the clubs I'm part of on campus. It's a great club. Such an amazing opportunity. Great administration, e-board, everything. Everyone's so welcoming, so passionate about a combined cause. It's a club that I'm really proud to be a part of. And yeah, fortunately, I was able to go to Catalina last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and learn more about the opportunities that Wrigley gives to students and the work that they're doing there. It's so interesting as someone who's environmentally minded. It was so interesting to see what they're working on there in agriculture, in planting, things like that. And also got to enjoy some nice hiking and kayaking too. So that was a lot of fun.
It's a really cool place out there. So they're the Environmental Student Assembly. And then so over President's Day, my friend was helping put it together. They took a boat out to Catalina. So what did you do there? Because I'm actually really curious about this trip. It's one of the cool things that a lot of the environmental orgs on campus do. They just go fun places and they hike and they like kayak and they canoe and they like camp places.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you specifically do?
Well, that's why I'm a part of it. Is that right? Yeah, it's just so much fun to breathe some fresh air every once in a while and get out of the city. I always want to take advantage of that opportunity. We went on the Catalina Express because the USC boat to Wrigley actually broke the weekend we were supposed to go, so we had to kind of find a different way. Yeah, we had to find
a solution.
Yeah, exactly. We had to find some way to get to that island one way or another. But once we got there, it was so much fun. We got to go kayaking for a bit. We went hiking up a couple trails. It was right by the coast, so we got to see the sunset up a small hill by Wrigley. And then the next day, we got to work on a composting project where we put cinder blocks in a little rectangular dip into the ground, and it was supposed to act as a structure for composting materials and a composting solution. So we got to do some environmental work there. We also got to get a tour of some of the labs at Wrigley, and that was definitely a lot of fun. They showed us their aquaponics lab, their greenhouse, their blue house, their touch tanks. That was definitely the most fun because we got to feel like, the sea urchins and get pricked by them, and the sea cucumber. It was funny how it was really firm when it was out of the water, but super squishy when it was in the water. This sounds really weird, but it was it was a lot of fun to see. In all seriousness, it was fun to see the work that they're doing. It's amazing work that they're researching at Wrigley, and to learn more about what USC is doing there. I feel like not a lot of students get the opportunity to go to Wrigley and see what they're doing there. It's a whole, it's a whole institute there that USC has. I feel like not that many students know about it. So I think what the club is trying to do is to make this an annual trip and to get more people out on that island just to see, what's been going on there. I feel like not that many people know about it, but also, to get away from the city for a weekend, breathe some fresh air and stuff. It's always nice.
It sounds like a super fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned like a ton of stuff that is all related to environmental studies, environmental engineering, environmental science, like aquaponics, green energy, sustainability, all that stuff. So what is environmental engineering to you? Like, what do you believe that the major focuses on and the careers are in the field and that type of stuff?
Saving the planet, I guess. In all seriousness, environmental engineering is so important to our world today, because without engineers and environmental scientists to design sustainable solutions to how we live life, we're not going to be living sustainably 5-10 years from now. Environmental engineering it encompasses so many different topics, from renewable energy, transportation, green agriculture, conservation. There's so many different things that are involved, and that just means that there's so many different ways for people to get involved in environmental engineering. Personally, for me, I have a ton of passions throughout the whole discipline, but my most favorite focus within the environmental engineering curriculum has to be more like transportation, designing better road systems, things like that. I'm actually doing research with a professor right now, Dr. Jim Moore, on road diets, which involves lane reductions in roads to make way for more alternate means of transportation, like bikes, public transportation, things like that. It's really interesting to me how there's so many different dimensions and different ways to tackle the environmental issues that we face today, and certainly so many engineering applications too. So in the end, environmental engineering is designing creative solutions to the problems in our lives today. Our futures depend on this, and that's why I feel like it's so important.
Really cool. So as a freshman, you start taking engineering classes your first semester, right? So what has your favorite sort of environmental class been?
Yeah, I haven't taken that many, unfortunately, and I'm looking forward to taking more in the coming years. Definitely my favorite class so far has been Civil Engineering 110 with Dr. Kelly Sanders. She is an amazing professor. She's super nice, super helpful, super informative, really knows environmental engineering really well, knows all sorts of things to teach us as students. Super good mentor too, not just a professor who teaches us engineering, also a good mentor that teaches us how to get through college, how to plan accordingly, things like that. She's such a good resource. I'm super happy I took that class first semester just to get a good idea of what environmental engineering really means as a whole.
That's awesome. As an engineering student, do you think that you're able to interact with these students in other majors in like the same capacity, or do you think you have to take a step back because you have a heavy course load? Like, how have you balanced being in environmental and civil engineering and then having a life on the side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to sugarcoat things. Engineering is super difficult. There's a lot of classes you have to take, a lot of things you have to know, so it definitely takes up a good portion of your time here in college. But at the same time, I have to understand that when you're in college, you have to take advantage of the opportunities given to you socially, through extracurriculars, things like that. So I definitely want to make sure that I stay on top of my classes and do my work, but I also want to direct some of my time towards spending time with my friends, being part of different clubs here, things like that. Just making sure that I manage my time correctly, and I set aside time to study, I set aside time to relax and spend time with friends, I set aside time to devote to the clubs I'm part of here. It's always really important to make sure you're valuing all aspects of your college life here, not just academics. Academics are an integral part of your education here, but the social opportunities, the extracurricular opportunities, the research opportunities are also super valuable to you too. So I think that a good balance between all these things is important to really finding your sweet spot here at USC.
That's cool. I know you haven't been here long, but you mentioned ESA and research. Have you taken advantage of any other opportunities in like clubs or internships, things like that?
Sure, yeah. I'm also part of ASCE, which is American Society of Civil Engineers. I'm part of the environmental design team there too. We're looking to design a solution to purify. We're looking to design a mechanism to purify a dirty water sample in a given amount of time. So it's really a lot of fun because we get to use a limited amount of materials and a little budget too to design the solution, and we have to do it in a time crunch. So there's a lot of pressure to design an efficient solution, but also it has to be effective too, and we have to make sure we actually purify the water in that time constraint too.
Yeah, I talked to Ahmed a little later about that, and he went more into detail about it. Sounds like a very complex sort of project, and he'll explain more about it later. But
yeah, he definitely knows a lot more about it than I do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
You. Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but a lot of fun too.
It sounds like you'll learn a lot through it, though. It's very applicable information.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's environmental engineering right there. Like designing a solution to purifying a water sample. You're taking an environmental problem and approaching it with an engineering perspective.
Yeah, that's the major.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you think that after you graduate, you're going to look at like industry in transportation or water treatment? What sort of field do you see yourself pursuing?
I'm still very, very open to all different possibilities, all different disciplines within environmental engineering. I might even look in other aspects of engineering too, not just environmental engineering. There's just such a diverse range of opportunities that engineering and environmental engineering give you. I don't want to say that I have a preference yet because there's still so much for me to learn here. There's so many more things that I want to experience here, whether it's engineering or outside of engineering. But all I know is that there's so many opportunities and issues out there for engineers to solve, and I'd be more than happy to be a part of any one of those solutions. I mean, at the end of the day, our obligation is to solve the world and solve the problems of the world and make things better for people. So any contribution I can make towards improving my society, the people, helping the people around me will be something that I'm proud to be a part of.
So if someone's considering being in environmental engineering and doing all the things that you've been talking about, but doesn't quite know if this is right for them or they're having some doubts, what would you say to them about your experience and what your thought process has been in choosing the major?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of questions to myself about whether this is the right career path for me or whether this is what I'm truly interested in. I guess my advice would be to ask yourself, are you truly passionate about the issues that environmental engineering is intended to solve? Whether there's a lot of different approaches to this, whether it's, energy, transportation, conservation, water treatment, anything. If you're really passionate about just even one of those things, then I think environmental engineering is definitely the career path for you. If you're passionate about solving the world's problems using construction, using ideas associated with engineering, ideas associated with construction, then engineering is definitely the right path for you. But even if you're not into environmental issues, there's still so many things that engineering as a whole can help with the world around you. There's all different types of engineering for you to look into. It doesn't just have to be environmental engineering. There's so many other great career paths for you as well. As long as you're passionate about a problem and want to apply your skills and your interest towards solving that problem, pursue that career, whether it's environmental engineering or some other engineering or anything, really.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking about this. This has been great hearing from you and your experience so far.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So I'm here with Jessica. Jessica, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Jessica Minsel Kim. I'm currently a sophomore studying environmental engineering, and I consider two places my home. The first is Taiwan, and the second is Korea.
Very cool. So, why did you pick environmental engineering?
I think it was a variety of different factors, but the biggest thing was like growing up, learning so much about like global warming or like environmental problems. I had like a lot of anxiety about it. Like I couldn't sleep. And then I was like, I might as well just major in this so I can like relieve that. Really? Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like I feel like everyone here, they're doing it for like a very personal, like moral reason. And I like that.
Very cool. So seeing all these issues, did you want to be just the person to fix it, or did you want to be more educated about it?
I wanted to be both. So I used to, I was considering like environmental science, environmental studies, but I decided on doing environmental engineering because I wanted to be more educated about it, but also be the one to actually solve the problems. Like I didn't want to just collect data and give it to someone else so that they can analyze that and then come up with solutions.
Definitely. And on that note, to you, what is environmental engineering, and how is it different from like environmental studies and just overall like the idea of studying environmental issues?
I think the difference between environmental engineering and the other like environmental sciences or studies is that at like the core basis of our major is still engineering. So it's like how to problem solve, like chemistry, physics, all of these things. And then it's not just about learning how to collect data and analyze that data, is using that to come up with like system-based, like big scale, like projects and solutions. I think that's what environmental engineering is. I'm still not fully sure.
You got time.
Yeah.
You got time. So you're a sophomore. So this is your 4th semester here. So what has been your favorite sort of environmental engineering class?
My favorite, I have 2. And they were both taught by Professor Kelly Sanders.
Of course it was. Of course they were.
We all love Professor
She's so
Sanders.
Good.
Yeah, she really is. The first class was like an intro class where we just went over what environmental engineering is and the possible fields that we can go into in the future. So we touched on different themes like energy, water, and like air pollution, that kind of thing. And I love that introduction because I felt more sure about my major after that introduction class. And then the second class that I took last semester was more about energy. And we like dive deep into like the different forms of energy and sustainable energy and what like sustainable energy really even means. The pros and cons of all of these different sorts of energy. And like I always thought I was going to go into water, but like taking that class made me realize there's like a way broader field of environmental engineering than I like ever imagined. So I'm like reconsidering my future.
It's super broad, and I feel like that's something you kind of learn along the way. Of like, you know, you might think that it's pigeonholed into certain areas, like just water or just like air quality. But it's so broad. Like every field needs an environmental engineer to kind of help it out.
Exactly.
But yeah, so where do you see yourself kind of after you graduate from USC? Like, what field do you want to go into? Do you want to pursue higher education, and what would it be in?
This is a really funny question because I actually just met with the academic advisor today, Geraldine.
Perfect.
Yeah. And we were kind of discussing the different options I had, but for the longest time, I thought I was gonna go into environmental engineering and be an engineer for a while, but then later transition to like policy or like government. Because that's, like, I'm also interested in that, but I want to go into policy or government with that engineering and science background. So I know for sure the laws that I make, like, actually make sense.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the current plan right now, but because I am a third culture kid, I don't really know which government I would work for or, like, where I would settle down in the future. So it's all just kind of up in the air right now.
That is super cool. So once you graduate, to pursue that, would you, like, go into industry, or would you have to get, like a law degree or something?
I'm not sure. I think for now, I want to go into industry directly first and just, like, try out what it means to be, like, an actual environmental engineer and then see where that takes me in the future.
Woo.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
On that note, have you had any sort of internships or research experience while you've been at USC?
I've been involved in a research lab starting from my second semester here at USC. So as a freshman, I worked with Dr. Pierre Bazzari in a Safe Water for All Nations lab, and we're doing a lot of research on drinking water. So currently we're working on how to reverse lead contamination in drinking water and like using different methods. And right now we're like testing out the filters that we came up with and then seeing if they worked.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you got involved your freshman year?
Yeah.
Whew. So you really knew what you wanted to do.
I think because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I wanted to delve into research.
Okay.
Like, to see if this is what I want to do. And then doing more research made me realize this was a field that I wanted to stay with.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your plans for this summer? I know that's like a question that probably everyone asks because summer after sophomore and junior year are big.
Exactly.
But do you have any sort of big plans coming up?
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about staying in LA and getting an internship, but I ended up applying to Viterbi Abroad.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, it's taking place in London this year. A lot of the people in my major are going, so it's just like 5 of us from my major who are going, and we're so excited. And it's like taking
engineer trip.
Exactly, and it's like getting 2 classes out of the way, and like that's unheard of.
That's awesome. So, outside of like your classes and your research, what clubs are you a part of at USC?
Quite a few. I am the advocacy chair for the Asian Pacific American Student Assembly, also known as APASA. It's underneath the programming branch of USG, the undergraduate student government. I'm also a student ambassador / tour guide at the Admission Center, and I'm also an ambassador for the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists. And I'm like a general member of other clubs like the Taiwanese American Organization, the Korean American Student Association, and like so on. But those are like less commitment. Like it's just like coming out to events and like eating food, that kind of thing.
It's still a lot though.
Quite a few.
Oh my god. How do you balance all of it?
I think I'm still working on how to balance everything, but I actually went into court check this semester.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
So what is that?
Court check, I think the full name is the Court Check Center for Creativity and Learning, and they basically help you sort out your calendar, whether that's like weekly, daily, or even like monthly, semester. They also help you with like study tips, that kind of thing. And I went in just because like the first few weeks here, I was just like so overwhelmed. I was like, I have all of these things going on because this was when Own It was still happening.
Yeah, I know you were involved in that as well.
Yeah, Own It is just like this gigantic female empowerment leadership summit thing, and that took months and hours every single day to plan for. So I just went in and I was just like, I love everything that I'm doing, but it's just all too much. And then the person was like, I think you have to, if you're not willing to give up something, you have to learn to prioritize things. So then I started prioritizing, and then I was more honest with myself about like the amount of commitment I can give to each thing. And then I started having more honest conversations with like the other people in these organizations, and I think I'm like slowly getting that balance back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Making it work.
Just try.
And then what would you say to someone who's considering majoring in environmental engineering but doesn't know if they should?
I would ask them why they want to pursue this major, because we were actually talking to Professor Sanders about this, but she always tells us, like, you don't have to stick with this major just because you care about the environment. Like, it's important that there are people in different industries and different fields of engineering that also care about the environment, but, like, goes about solving environmental problems in, like, a different angle compared to environmental engineers. Yeah, so I would say don't feel like you have to go into environmental engineering because you think that's the only way that you can solve environmental problems. But if you are interested in like solving environmental problems in like a large scale, like city scale, like system based way, I think this major is perfect for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking more about your experience with environmental engineering.
Of course.
2 more years.
2 more years. We got
You
this.
got this. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Ahmed. Ahmed, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, as Christina said, my name is Ahmed Bashidi. I'm a junior studying environmental engineering. I'm from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, which is on the west coast of Saudi Arabia, facing the Red Sea. I came here to USC to study and take my bachelor's and hopefully get a good degree.
And hopefully graduate. Yay. 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 4 years.
Like most people, unless you add on a double major or do something crazy like that. So.
Or apply for PDP.
Are you doing PDP?
No. I'm thinking about it, but I'd rather take my master's somewhere else.
We jumped in real fast. What is PDP?
Okay, PDP is a progressive degree program, which is a program here at USC where you can take master's while you're taking an undergrad degree. So you'd be graduating with 2 degrees, basically.
If you were to get a master's, would you get it in environmental engineering?
For now, yes, but I've also considered art and design and chemical engineering.
Interesting.
Which is very diverse, or mechanical engineering with an emphasis on like sustainability.
That's cool.
So like I'm still keeping my options open, but I do really like environmental engineering.
Yeah. On that note, why did you originally pick environmental engineering to major in?
I picked environmental engineering because I'm from a country that has a lot of water scarcity. So most of our water comes from a desalination plant. We barely have any like fresh water sources. It's mostly groundwater. So we're actively trying to find solutions to deal with our water scarcity, either via water treatment, water desalination, water reuse, and things like that. Also, I'm generally really interested in saving the environment, or I really care about the environment. I try and like build habits that help me like contribute less to climate change and pollution generally. Like for example, I am actively trying to be vegan.
Trying.
Yeah, trying. I give meat one chance per month.
That's still really good though.
Yeah.
Once a month.
Yeah, I've been
Wow.
controlling myself
Good for
very
you.
well. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much why I wanted to be an environmental engineer.
That's awesome. So on that note, like, what is environmental engineering to you? Because you mentioned a lot of water stuff, and it is a lot of that. So is that what you're most interested in, or are there other facets that you like exploring too?
So I'm interested mainly in water and the energy-water nexus, and also kind of sustainability, but it's mainly just like energy and energy-water nexus and water. Because, as I said, I am from a really water-scarce country, and also I'm from a country which it's like most of its energy is coming from like fossil fuels, and when we're at a point where we can no longer use fossil fuels, it really helps to have people that know what direction we could take. It's one of the reasons also why I joined environmental engineering.
So you mentioned the energy-water nexus, and Jessica, who I spoke to right before this, was mentioning Kelly Sanders, an amazing professor who researches the energy-water nexus. So can you explain a little bit more what that is and why you're interested in it?
So the energy-water nexus is basically like problems with like water and energy, since they're so tied together, since water's always used a lot in a lot of like plants, or a lot of energy extraction like fracking, or in like nuclear plants where water is used to cool, and a lot of plants end up polluting water sources. So a lot of these things are examples of like the energy-water nexus, let's say.
Yeah.
And Professor Kelly kind of like does a lot of like, let's say, data science, data collection, and kind of analyzes like problems related to the energy-water nexus. Yeah.
Were you interested in that before you came to USC, or did you find it here?
I found it here, actually. I was just interested in like water and the environment generally, but here I found that like my interests are like intersecting into like a problem that really needs attention. when I like learned more about that, I was really interested in it. And I like read more about it. I've talked to a professor about it, and it's very interesting because it's like we need to like actively look for ways to solve the energy water nexus, and because it's such a big problem with many facets, we can't just approach it with one like big solution. It's not like one virus that needs a vaccine. It's more of like multiple viruses that are ever changing and are different from each city to another and each country to another and things like that. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what has your favorite class been in environmental engineering since you came to USC?
I think my favorite class in environmental engineering would be Uni 215, which was a class I took with Christina. It's called Energy Systems Trade-offs and Management, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, Energy Systems and Environmental Trade-offs.
Yeah, Energy Systems and Environmental Trade-offs was maybe my favorite class because it did talk a lot about the energy water nexus, and it also talked about both problems related to water and problems related to energy individually, but mostly energy. So we learned a lot about like the problems of like many sources of energy and many methods in collecting fossil fuels and other sources of energy. Like for example, we talked about how solar panels can actually have a negative effect because they have a limited lifespan. We're going to have a lot of solar panel waste. And we also talked about how lithium, which is used in solar panels, is a really rare mineral that we have to mine in methods that are damaging to the environment. So it's like we're talking about like this thing that is so praised for being great for the environment, but actually has huge negative impacts as well.
Yeah. That was a really fun class.
Yes, it was.
Shout out Dr. Kelly Sanders again.
Professor Kelly
Sanders, an amazing professor. So what's your favorite class you're currently taking?
I think my favorite class is fluid mechanics.
Interesting.
I think it's because like I understand when the professor explains like a question or something like that. He explains it in a way that's like very visual, and it helps me visualize it in my head when I'm like doing problems or I'm taking a test. And it's also like it's kind of similar to a class that I've taken already called thermodynamics last semester, because it's like I'm dealing with like fluids, and I really like that class.
Cool. That's fun to hear. We have a midterm Wednesday.
Yes. I have started studying, but
Dr. Lynette, he started studying.
Yeah, Dr. Lynette did a review session as well. But I'm kind of nervous just because it's like I like this class a lot, but it's also like I don't want to go into the class thinking that I'm gonna ace this midterm just because I like it, because even though you can like a course, you have to like also give it like the material, the time it needs.
Yeah, I think because it's environmental fluid mechanics, so it's specifically taught in a way that, like, we can really be interested in and appreciate, versus, like, if we were taking a general fluid mechanics class, I feel like trying to learn that alongside, like, mechanical engineers might be difficult, but...
Yeah, that's the good thing about, like, being in Viterbi is that, like, they give each major, like, the specific... Like, they give them, or they make a specific course for a major, just to take into consideration that they're not going to use a lot of like fluid mechanic topics that are for mechanical engineers, they're probably going to need something else. So we, most of our questions are about like dams or other bodies of water.
Yeah.
And other like gates and things like that. So it's very helpful, and it's why I'm really interested in it.
Cool. So stepping away from like classes and the academic side of things, what do you do in your free time on campus? What clubs are you involved in? Do you do like research, things like that?
So I am involved in like 3 clubs. The first club I joined, I'm still a part of, is called the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I am the club graphic designer, so I do all their posters, their banners, their working on their logo right now because we're updating it. And we do a lot of advocacy. It's basically a club that helps like break the stigma on mental illnesses and like and promote like good mental health. I'm also involved in the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists. I'm the club treasurer there, so I'm keeping track of the money, submitting the forms to ask for funding and things like that. I'm also the environmental design co-captain which is a competition where we actually treat wastewater to specific qualifications. The wastewater has like a bunch of weird constituents. Like this year we have like fertilizer and crushed cement and motor oil, and basically the competition is we have to like make it go through like a gravity-based filtration system that uses 0 power tools, 0 energy, just goes through the system and comes out under certain specifications, under a certain time limit. We're supposed to build it in 30 minutes at the competition.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And we're supposed to like then pour the wastewater in, and we're supposed to fill 1 5-gallon bucket, and we're given 2 5-gallon buckets of wastewater. It's pretty exciting. It's under it's a competition under the Pacific Southwest Conference. If you would like to join this team, you'd have to be a member of the American Society of Civil Engineers, which I know it's kind of weird that like you have to be the member of the Civil Science Engineers to be in an environmental design competition. But the thing is about environmental engineering and civil engineering is that they're been so closely tied together, and in many places they're in the same department, because like environmental engineers and civil engineers kind of like work together to solve issues and solve problems.
That sounds really cool. So it's kind of like a design team, but like for environmental engineering and water treatment issues.
Yes, exactly.
That's such a weird mixture of wastewater, though.
Yeah, it's a weird mixture because the theme this year is like, it's really funny. The prompt is that the big earthquake hit Los Angeles.
Oh my gosh!
And now
we have to prepare.
And now Disneyland wants to treat water.
No.
Yes. They just want to run their parks, I guess.
Is it in Anaheim? Is that...
It's in Fullerton this year.
So it's not, like, Disneyland related?
No, not really,
Okay.
but they just said that Disneyland is...
You know what?
Is treating the water.
We love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's really funny.
Interesting.
Last year, the prompt was that we needed to filter water from, like, a winery. So the wastewater had like olive oil and like it wasn't a winery, I think it was like a farm that also had wine or something like that, or a winery that had olive oil. I'm not sure, but it had fertilizer, olive oil, and I think like a few other constituents that I can't remember, but it was as if like it was like a wastewater that came from a winery and we wanted to reuse it.
Well, if any wineries are listening, or if the earthquake hits and Disneyland's listening,
we have a solution.
You know who to call.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, so doing all of that stuff and still being in Viterbi as an environmental engineer, how do you balance all of it? Because you're sure to be very busy.
Yeah, I think when I'm busier, I am more productive. I think I talked to one of my professors about this. It's because, like, you don't have time to waste anymore. You're more active and you're more proactive into, like, actually focusing on your work and finishing it. And also, like, you want to get things done, so, like, you feel like you have less things to do. One of the things that I like to do is I like to reward myself for good work. Instead of, like, watching Netflix as soon as I get home, I try and actually finish my work, and once I'm finished with all my homework, like, I allow myself to, like, watch a few episodes, which has been really helpful in managing my time and actually, like, doing all my work. I also prioritize, like, my club work over, like, Netflix or other things that I do, just because it's, like, I care about it just as much, and I want to see my club succeed and do well. So it's kind of like a better version of homework, like a homework that you want to do, like a homework for a fun class, because, like, you really care about, like, the club, and you also care about your homework. Of course, homework takes priority here, but, like, you also, like, work on, like, prioritization and managing deadlines and planning for, like, how to finish things and when to finish things, and, like, giving yourself, like, a timeline. Even if you, like, don't follow it, at least, like, you know the order in which you want to work in, or you have an idea of what you need to finish today. And, like, I've heard this thing, I think I've read it actually. If you write your goals, you're more likely to achieve them.
Interesting.
So
Write them down.
Always, like, before I sleep, I, like, write my goals in a journal and have, like, a little checkbox, and it's, like, so satisfying to just, like, check them off. It's helped me a lot, especially because, like, if I don't do that the night before, I end up forgetting what I have to do the next day, and I just waste time.
That's interesting to hear. I might steal some of those tips in my life. Thank you.
No problem.
So after graduation, you mentioned potential masters. You mentioned, like, your interest in water. What do you plan to do with your degree?
So the first thing I want to do is, like, get a industry internship. So I want to work in, like, a environmental engineering or civil engineering firm that has environmental engineers, because I want to see how environmental engineers work before I actually continue pursuing it. Because I feel like getting an idea of how my life is going to be as an environmental engineer will help me decide if I want to stay with this major or not in my master's. I'm definitely, like, happy with it in my undergrad, but then again, like, what you take in undergrad is very different than what you do at a job, because it's no longer academia, it's more of actual real life situations.
Do you think it would be in, like, well, if you had the choice between a bunch of different internships, would you want to do something in, like, the water side, the air side, like a government or, like, private consulting?
I think the thing I want to work on the most is, like, things related to water.
That's cool. Well, good luck.
Thank you so much.
You still have time.
Yeah.
Like a year.
Yeah, like a year and a half, kind of.
We got this.
We got this.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sitting down and chatting.
Well, thank you for allowing me to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Miranda. Miranda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name's Miranda Liebig. I'm a senior here at USC, studying environmental engineering. I'm from Whittier, California, which is 15 miles from here. So born and raised in LA County. So yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
Yay! Well, happy to have you. So you're an environmental engineer. Did you come into USC as an environmental engineer?
Yes, I did.
Yay! And then why did you pick that major?
So growing up, I was always like really good at math and science. Like math was like my favorite subject. So I kind of knew I wanted to do something like in STEM. And like when I was in middle school, I went to like Catholic school, so it was interesting. But like we had a engineering company come and they did like a Women in Engineering Day. So that was really cool. We did a lot of different activities and stuff, and kind of like, which kind of like introduced me to engineering. I don't think I'd heard of it before that. And then when it came time to like applying to college, picking a major, I was like, oh, well, engineering, like that's math, science. And I like thought back to that, you know, that day in like middle school. And then I kind of just had this like epiphany because I was looking at the different types of engineering. And then I remember environmental engineering existed. And I was like, well, I care about the environment. Like, let me do that. So that's how I decided it. And so, yeah. And then that's how I applied and got accepted. And then just kind of stuck with it.
Awesome. So what is environmental engineering to you?
So coming in, I don't know what I thought. I thought it was very much like, you know, renewable energy and, you know, what else? Like green technology, whatever.
Yeah.
Just kind of stuff that's been like hot topics for like the environmental field.
Dr. McCurry always is like saving the spotted eagle. That's his favorite.
Saving
the spotted owl. That's his like.
Oh my god.
The hot topic.
No, yeah, exactly. But then coming in, I realized, or like once we got to more of our classes, like yeah, that we talk about energy and stuff, but we mostly focus on water. And I think that's just because we're in LA and California, so learning about like water quality and like air quality. So to me, yeah, I luckily like some people didn't like the water side, and you know they want to go into different things and whatever. But luckily for me, like I really am interested in water. I think it's like a really kind of like important issue that people don't really talk about. Especially in, like, the United States. And growing up in LA, like, always in a drought, you're always hearing about these things. So, yeah, to me, it's, like, yeah, basically, like, water treatment, water management. And that's what I'm looking to go into. Yeah.
So how much would you say your perception changed of the major over time? Like, is it completely different now, or is it more, like, refined into one specific thing?
I think it's a little more refined, but I also realized, like, it just depends, like, what school you go to, probably, because, you know, like, yeah, USC is going to cater to, like, you know, LA and California's needs, whereas if you go to another place in the country, you know, they'll probably focus on other, like, yeah, topics more, like, relative to them, I think, and that's just my consensus from, like, professors and stuff. So I guess it hasn't totally changed, just maybe a little more specified.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what has your favorite class been while you've been at USC?
My favorite class?
In environmental engineering.
In environmental, yeah.
Or civil, because we take a lot of those classes as well.
I do not like those. I do not like civil. I don't really like physics, and those are all super physics
civil
related.
Is more like mechanical, physical, statics.
Yeah, no, statics I had to take twice, so.
Statics is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Like, physics is not for me. So I really like more, like, chemistry and stuff. So I really enjoyed, like, Dr. P's classes. The water quality and water chemistry, I thought those were, like, really cool and niche and, like, really, like, hands-on with water. And I really liked it. I think they were my most enjoyable classes.
Those ones are fun, too, because you have the lab component.
Yeah, so you actually, like, get to see what you're, like, learning and, like, how to actually, like, measure these things and apply it.
So, outside of being an environmental engineer, what do you like to do on campus?
Yeah, so, let's see. Yeah, so when being on campus, like, I'm involved in some engineering clubs, but last year I was in the Latinx Student Assembly, which was really cool, like, spending time with, like, other Latinx students and, like, building that community and just, like, even having, like, kind of hard conversations that need to be had in the community and stuff. But, you know, just spending time and, like, celebrating our cultures. That was really cool. And then from there, I got involved with the Student Coalition Against Labor Exploitation, SCALE, which I'm like really involved in this year. And we just support workers on campus and in the community right now. The service workers and hospitality workers. There's like 800 of them on campus, and they're fighting for a better contract this year. And they're represented by the union Unite Here. So we've been really involved with that and just showing our solidarity as students because, like, yeah, I don't know if a lot of people realize it, but as students, we have a lot of power. Like, we're the ones who, like, make this school a school, you know, and, like, our tuition and all that. So I think it's really good in that way to have that, like, solidarity and, like, community with the workers. So that's been something really cool. And, like, I've gotten to meet a lot of, like, really cool people and, you know, not engineers, people that, you know, they're all, like, all different types of majors. So, yeah, it's been really cool, and I've learned so much just about, like, organizing and being involved with the community. So I really love doing that. That's, like,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because it's totally, like, outside of engineering.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how do you balance that with being an environmental engineering student and taking full-time classes?
How do I balance it? I mean,
it just happens. Like,
right. No, it's definitely been a struggle. Like, freshman year, I wasn't involved in anything, so, like, I had so much time to, like, you know, spend on my classes. But the more I've got involved, like, I kind of just figure it out. Like, yeah, just looking at my weeks and being like, okay, this is what I'm capable of doing. Like, if I have a test, being like, okay, well, I can't do this, like, I need to study, or, you know, just trying to plan my time like that and kind of prioritize things. Like, if I have homework due, like, I need to make sure I'm on it and I'm not wasting any, like, free time, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, that's been, like, it's been hard, but, you know, I made it. I'm a senior, so almost done. And so, yeah.
Do you feel like as a senior, you like mastered these skills, or do you feel like you are still gonna develop them more?
You know, there's always room for improvement.
But better than freshman year.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I've kind of, like, I don't know, realized not everything's that serious, you know, like it happens where you're struggling in a class, you know, maybe you'll get a C, but it's like you kind of move on and, like, learn from that. And yeah, I don't know. I still procrastinate a lot as a senior. That never really got fixed.
Senioritis, but it's from high school.
No, exactly. Like, senioritis from senior year of high school just continued this whole time.
Oh, no.
But, you know, we made it work. So.
And you made it.
Yeah.
So what are you planning to do, like, after graduation?
I
know that's a question.
Some people are scared, but luckily I have plans and
Yay.
Grateful for that. So I applied for the progressive degree program. So I'm going to be getting my master's in one more year after this. Also in environmental engineering, but focus on water, as I've, like, talked about. So that kind of helps me to push off adulthood. And then right now, like, I'm applying for jobs/internships for the summer. With, like, mostly, like, government agencies. So, yeah, I'm chilling. After that, then, grad school, I'll have to apply for a real job. And we'll see how that goes.
Have you done any, like, on-campus research or internships anywhere, anything like that?
Yeah, so I've done research with Dr. McCurry in environmental engineering. I helped Lily, one of the PhD students, with her research, which was pretty cool. I wish I could have continued, but like I said, like, I'm involved in a lot of things, so it's kind of crazy, but it was still cool to experience and, you know, see, like, what goes behind research. And everyone was super cool. I love our department. Everyone's so
chill.
Nice. Yeah.
It's fun.
Definitely.
Shout out to Lily and Dr. McCurry.
Yeah, of course. They're amazing.
Okay, so you really like water. Do you see yourself, like, staying in LA for a job, or do you think you want to go somewhere else and deal with, like, water issues somewhere outside of LA?
Yeah. Right now I'm pretty set on LA. Like, you know, I've grown up here. I haven't traveled enough to, like, see, like, somewhere else that I want to live. So I definitely want to do some more traveling and, you know, learn more about, like, water issues, different places. And you know, if I move somewhere else, like, that'd be great. I think I really should, though, because I haven't spent that much time out of LA, and I feel like that'd be good for me to, you know, have that experience and, yeah, you know, learn more about the world. So
They need environmental engineers everywhere.
exactly. So
options.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, yeah, fresh out of college, that's like the best time to, you know, travel, work somewhere else. So I'll definitely be looking into that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question. What would you say to someone who's considering majoring in environmental engineering but doesn't know, like, if they should, what the major exactly is, things like that?
Let's see. I think the prereqs are, I don't know if they're as intense, but, I mean, you definitely kind of have to be, like, mentally prepared for, you know, like, some maths and, like, chemistry and all that stuff. But I think, you know, try it out and see. I think it's a really great department. And, like, if our department wasn't this great, I don't know if I would have made it 4 years. Because it's really intense. I mean, when I was doing it, I don't know how it is now. I think they're really working on, like, making it more palatable for more people because we have been struggling with, like, enrollment. And so I think now it's a lot more, there's a lot more younger teachers, and they're really making classes, like, consolidated where you're not, like, kind of learning the same thing over and over, or it's kind of all spread out. Like, you learn about these subjects in, like, one class, and, like, you know. But what else would I say? It's cool. Like, we're really making a difference, and anytime I meet someone, they're like, oh, yeah, we need more environmental engineers. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So if you care about, you know, making a difference in the world, like, heck yes, join, and you'll meet some great people, and, you know, believe in yourself. I think that's like the key to getting through engineering.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was so wholesome.
You know, we gotta remind ourselves sometimes. It's hard.
We do.
But, and, like, everybody has your back. Like, my classmates have been really great. Like, we study together, you know, and we're just here to support each other.
The department's so fun, classmate-wise, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Everyone's so collaborative. And really, junior year, we started a Slack channel.
Love that. The group chat's the best.
The group chat, incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really supportive.
Exactly, yeah. So, I think I'm going to say it. It's the best engineering department.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. What? We get a holiday party.
We do get a holiday party.
Every year. That's one reason just to become an environmental
Join the department.
engineer.
We get a holiday party.
Delicious food, real fancy in town and
dresses
gown.
up.
Free drinks once you're 21.
Professors are there.
Yeah, you get to see their
Everyone takes
families.
photos. Yes.
It's like, it's a good time.
This is a wholesome department.
I tell all my friends, like, you know, this year I'm going to the holiday party, like, whatever. They're like, you get that? Like, we don't get anything like that. And I'm just like, that's how amazing our department is.
Truly.
So, there you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking more about environmental engineering. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was awesome. Environmental engineering. I mean, so now, Christina, you did not, when you started at USC, you were not an environmental engineer.
Yes, I wasn't.
And so how did you eventually see the light? Where tell us.
Yeah, I was always, like, interested in environmental issues. I took AP Environmental Science in high school. I was really interested in sustainability, but I didn't really know that that would be the right choice for me coming into college. I thought mechanical engineering, which was my original first major, would have been a better choice because it's broad. You can do a lot with it.
But, mechanical engineering, right, Audrey?
Yeah, Audrey. Yeah, honestly, sometimes I feel that way. But I like it.
But yeah, I went into that major thinking just it's broad, and that's why I want to do it. But then going in, I realized it's not broad. It's just a different type of engineering. And I'm sure, Audrey, you've had that experience where, like, it just focuses on different types of things that I didn't really expect.
Yeah, I think the cool thing, and you kind of touched on this before, is with environmental engineering, that sort of, like, problem-solving focus. Like, if you're choosing that major, like, you know, you're interested in, like, this huge issue that we're going to be facing in, like, ultimately, I think technology is absolutely part of the solution, and it's really necessary that engineers are focusing on sustainability. And I feel like environmental engineering has that focus built in. And a lot of companies now, I know, I was actually just listening to a podcast the other day about, it was like the daily episode about kind of how Amazon, Delta, and Microsoft have stated this commitment to sustainability and profiled
the New York
that.
Times Daily?
Mhm.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was like the daily episode. What daily episode?
Yeah. But I think like companies have like a genuine business interest in a lot of these issues now, and it's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as an environmental engineer, you're really in tune to all of that. And yeah, like you said, it's just fundamentally so linked to problem solving, which is what engineering is. So I think that's super cool. And also, like we were kind of talking about like the midterms we had this week or something, and we take really similar classes. Like we're both in fluids right now, you know? So like it's just a different application of it, and you're still going to get the same fundamentals. So if you wanted to do something else, you could.
Yeah, so all my fears about like, oh, I should go into mechanical engineering because it's broad, and if I go into environmental, I'd kind of be pigeonholed into one thing. So if I change my mind, like life's over.
That's what everyone thinks when they come in. Like, oh my gosh, I can't study aerospace engineering. It's way too specific. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
It is because, we are taking super similar classes, and it's a lot of the things I'm learning are applicable in other fields too. And a lot of environmental engineers I know are like considering working in chemical engineering or mechanical engineering industries, but doing things related to environmental engineering.
Because they have environmental engineering focuses, and they have specific jobs and problems that they need to solve that they need environmental engineers for. People think that there's supposed to be some sort of point A to point B. I have a blank engineering degree, therefore I will work at a blank engineering company. And it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So I saw the light. I changed majors, not to environmental. I changed to chemical because I like chemistry.
She didn't quite see it.
I didn't see it. It was
an
like
evolution.
Yeah.
It took time.
It was dark, and then it was opaque, and then it was clear. So
Dark.
now here I am.
You just called your major dark. It was dark.
It can be at times.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm happy with this major now. I feel like I'm learning a lot of things that I'm really passionate about. So, and I was right at the beginning with my passion, so I shouldn't have questioned it.
Okay, but good. I'm glad.
And I think it's really cool too how you talk to people like at all sort of the stages of environmental engineering, like first year student, second, third year, fourth year, because I think that's kind of a super cool evolution to see sort of how that works, because you are in a really different place as when it's your first year here versus your third year here.
It takes time.
So I think that's an interesting perspective to tune into as well.
Awesome. Is this going up this weekend? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Cool. All right. So this is going up what are you guys doing this weekend? It's Friday. We're recording this on Friday morning.
Yes. What about you? Go first, Christina.
Oh, gosh. This podcast might actually come out really, really early Sunday morning because my sorority is going to Disneyland at 8 a.m. So, and then we're leaving at midnight. So full day, Disneyland trip with my sorority. We have fun stuff planned. It's going to be
it's
really
a very
fun
specific day.
It's
a very specific thing that you're doing. You're not just going to Disneyland.
Oh no, I made a schedule of like we're going on this ride at this time.
Are you doing it at 8 a.m. because you were trying to get like a boarding group for the Rise of Resistance stuff? Is that what you're doing?
No. I wish. We're leaving here at 8, so by the time we get there, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But that would be fun one day.
Why? What is very specific about this Disneyland trip?
It's just everyone's going, so it's going to be fun.
Okay.
Like whole group.
Okay.
It's just going to be a wholesome day. I don't know.
Day.
Everyone needs a break right now.
It's going to be a wholesome day.
A wholesome day. It's going to be good.
That's awesome. I don't have a lot planned. Originally, I was supposed to have some stuff going on that got canceled, and so I'm it's like this weird feeling of, oh my gosh, like I have like a day I can do something which
this is
not planned weeks in advance.
This weekend is leap day. I mean, we get a whole extra day.
Yeah.
This is a whole we have 366 days this year, and tomorrow is leap day.
That's exciting. So probably I'll just, be in the moment, decide what I want to do.
Yeah.
Oftentimes on weekends, like I'm kind of I don't know, like I don't like to get bogged down by other people's schedules. So sometimes I'll just go do whatever I want. So I'll probably do that, whatever I feel like. Maybe I'll go to the beach. I'm thinking about going swimming this
warm.
weekend.
85 degrees today.
Yeah,
it was like
beautiful.
86 yesterday. This is crazy.
Yeah.
You're not happy with it?
Not a fan.
No?
I liked the 70 degrees.
It was very nice.
It was so
very
nice.
nice the last couple weeks. Yeah. What's the weather going to be like for Sunday?
I think it's supposed to cool down a bit this weekend. That's
Is
why I
it?
was a little hesitant on my beach ambitions, but I'll probably still go.
Oh, wow. It is supposed to cool down dramatically.
Yeah.
It's only going to be in the 60s on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have a pass. I noticed the other day, like your Disneyland pass is on top of your phone. Like it's like the top level of your like credit cards.
It switches between my USCID and my Disneyland pass.
Depending on where you were last.
Yeah, those are my frequently used cards. So
funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've been
and
to Disneyland since I was like 8, I think.
You haven't been since you were 8?
Yeah.
So,
so
okay,
fun.
so tell Audrey, like, what is she supposed to do on your day? What is she
Yeah.
supposed to do when she goes? Like, what's the priority? What is it she can't miss? What are the things that you do that no one else does?
I do a lot of the classic stuff. All of the fun rides.
Classic. Here's
Like-
the words she's used so far. Wholesome.
Wholesome, classic.
Classic.
Sounds great.
It's real good. Pirates, Haunted Mansion. You have to check out Galaxy's Edge. It's so cool. They
Oh,
just
that's a
added
new
it.
one. Yeah.
It's really like, it's like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but like for Star Wars and bigger.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Real cool. Small World's a classic. I'm a big fan of Disneyland. I go there once a week just to kind of people watch at this
Really?
point. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I love that.
It's only half an hour away if you go when there's no traffic. So
When is there no traffic?
honestly, you find
After rush hour.
random times. After rush hour at around noon.
Weekends, there's no traffic.
Yeah.
So do you go like after class sometimes?
Yeah, like if you go at 7 and then some parking lots have free parking, so you can kind of
Oh.
sneak in for like a couple
What
hours.
parking lots have free parking?
The Toy Story one, I believe.
Has free parking?
After like 7 or 8.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So if you're going late,
No kidding.
they have free parking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, what's your vote on Galaxy's Edge? What's your vote on blue milk?
I love the blue milk. I haven't
you?
tried the green one.
It's very polarizing.
Really?
Yeah, people like love it or hate it.
It's so good, but I know it tastes like something familiar, but I don't know what it is.
I haven't had it.
You
but
should try
it's like
it.
sugary and lemony, is what I've been told. Am I wrong?
It's kind of fruity.
Is it like Fruity Pebbles milk? Like, is it like the
Yes.
leftover Fruity Pebbles milk?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. I've been struggling with
that
this
what it
for
is?
like a month about like what is this flavor?
Yeah, because my kid loved it, and I was like, no, thank you. And the fact that she's like, I want more. I'm like, it's probably just sugar. It's all it
Yep.
is sugar.
It's
Yeah.
very good. 100% would recommend trying the blue milk.
100% would recommend, but
Would
not 100% recommend. Not 100% recommend, just 100% would recommend.
Yes. It's good. It's wholesome. 100% would recommend the blue milk.
Have you done Rise of Resistance yet? Sorry, we're taking this all over.
No, I'm learning a lot.
I've actually never seen any Star Wars movies, so I'm holding off
Hold
until
on.
I've seen
Okay,
them.
new episode. Let's make a whole new episode right now. You've never seen any Star Wars film ever.
I've seen the second half of the third movie.
I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I've
Yeah.
seen like a part of one.
What is going on?
I know.
We gotta have a movie night.
How is that possible?
I think I remember I have this like vivid memory when I was little. I was young. And it was like on in my basement and I walked down and saw it and I think it was just like too scary. I don't know.
The look on your
something.
face is like a scarring experience. It's like you walked in on something really wrong.
Yeah, I think it was just like too scary. I was like, what is this? This is weird. And then I left and I never watched them again.
Oh.
Wait, so which one did you see?
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
Some,
It was just
some
something
flash of Star
And it was
Wars.
Star Wars.
I think it's the third prequel, Revenge of the Sith, I want to say.
And so you haven't seen any of the new ones that have come out in your like generation?
No.
No.
Like no interest. All that hubbub and no interest over the last 6 years, 5 years?
I don't want to watch it until I've seen the other ones.
Yeah, I feel like it's
So,
too late for me.
Yeah.
To
I
get-
need to just watch them all and just get it out of the way.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
Crazy.
have you seen all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an obvious answer.
Okay. It's a little bit different for me. It was my childhood. Like they all came out like as I was a kid. Like I still remember, I might have talked about this already. I still remember oh God, what birthday was it? My 6th birthday was Return of the Jedi themed. And we had like buttons and my cake was an Ewok village. Like it was a big deal.
Wow.
Like I was super jazzed about Return of the Jedi that summer because that was like huge. So yeah, that's like my total childhood.
Oh.
Disney Plus came out. All the Star Wars movies are on there.
Yes.
So this Christmas break, sat my daughter down. We're watching all of these. And so we cranked through all of them. So we went through the original 3. She's a fan. She digs it. Then I said, okay, now we got to go back and do the prequels. That was a bad idea because it's confusing. It like the idea that we're going backward in time with characters that you kind of are supposed to recognize. And then I realized the plot is just really confusing in the first 3 movies. Like even me, I'm like, what is happening? Why are we doing this? So there's not a lot of like really clear good guy, bad guy stuff going on. It's just like the transition. And then I think she's seen parts of the newer ones because they just happen to be on like in my house. But she's very aware of BB-8. She loves BB-8.
Oh yeah.
She loves like all the droids.
The little circle guy. That's all I know.
I'm really like.
People are so upset at you two right now for not knowing anything. I'm hoping people are screaming.
so
at this
sorry.
podcast.
I have a lot of respect for like the institution of Star Wars, but it's just like never been mine.
But I'm gonna take a shot in the dark that you guys have seen every single Harry Potter film.
Yes.
I'm actually a Star Trek fan. That's kind of why I haven't seen a lot of Star Wars because I watched a lot of that growing up.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
All over Star Trek.
Yes.
And why is that?
My dad is a
Your
Star
dad?
Trek fan.
Oh, so he's hardcore and he never wants anything to do with Star Wars.
No, it's just kind of that was always on the TV. So now that I've seen that, it's kind of like I got my fill of space shows.
So different though.
It's very different.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of space, a lot of aliens. I got the gist of it.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen any of them.
But Harry Potter, you've been in all of
Yeah.
them.
I was really into Harry Potter when I was little. Not like really into it to like a extreme level, but I like read the books and watched movies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, have great weekends. That was a really long tangent out of that whole thing. Enjoy Leap Day. We get a whole extra day this weekend.
We'll use it to watch Star Wars.
That's not a bad idea. Get in there and watch Star Wars. Let's not worry so much about the prequels, but let's just get into the originals at least.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's on the to-do list.
Seriously, come on, get that done. And then report back. We'll have a whole episode. We'll have a whole episode on Star Wars.
Sounds perfect. Just the content people want.
That's what everybody comes here for.
Yeah.
That Star Wars chatter. The Star Wars chatter.
With 2 people who haven't even seen the movies.
That's what's so fun. It's like let's get your hot take on it.
Oh God.
Well, that's the next one. All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.